Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Shri Radha Gokulananda ki Jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman
जी की जय
Shri Gaur
निताय की जय Srila Prabhupada
ki
की जय
Jai. Thank you everyone. Kunal Prabhu, all yours.
Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna. How are you? You all good? So, today we are going to start chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita. Last time we were together on the 7th, which was 3 weeks back. We did the end of chapter 10. And Krishna was describing all his different vibhutis, all his different excellences, his perfections in this universe. So today we are going to start chapter 11, which is Krishna's universal form. Arjuna getting quite interested in the vibhutis that Krishna was speaking about at the end of chapter 10. So before we start, we will chant the Mangala Charan prayers. So there are some sheets Maybe we can pass them round. It's also on page 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. If you just flick to the Roman, not the Roman numerals, the English number 1, after all the Roman numerals. If you go to number 1, you can also see the invocation prayers there. When we chant these prayers, we really want to tune in. We really want to tune in to the mood of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is in a very submissive mood when hearing these instructions from Krishna. He's not demanding. Arjuna is not cynical. Arjuna is not proud. He's not arrogant. With full humility, he's accepting Krishna's grace upon him, and he's accepting Krishna's gyan, Krishna's knowledge, Krishna's instructions. So in a similar mood, when we come to hear the Bhagavad Gita, if we approach the Bhagavad Gita with some humility, then Krishna reciprocates with the mood of humility. It's not necessary that we have a good memory. It's not necessary that we have good intellect. All these things can be helpful. But what's really important for us to really grasp the Bhagavad Gita is the mood of humility, as Arjuna displays at the beginning of the 11th chapter. So with that humility, we can chant these prayers fully surrendering to what the Lord has in plan for us in life. Because He's the one in charge. We've made so many plans, some of them worked out and some of them didn't. And Krishna's the one who's in charge of all the plans. He's the one that can decide which plans work out and which ones don't. So if we surrender unto His will, and if we chant these prayers with that mood of accepting that I have someone who protects me, I have someone who's watching my back 24 hours a day, and this someone, all he wants from me is a bit of love, a bit of devotion, and a bit of focus. So we can bring ourselves to the room, try and maybe close your eyes, start to feel your breath, breathing in, breathing out, becoming very aware of your breath. And as we take in through our nose and exhale through our mouth, and becoming very aware of our breathing, becoming very aware of our weight and body being supported by the chair that we're on, being aware of the floor supporting our feet, and going a bit internally, going inside, going into our hearts, and noticing within our hearts that there's a small spark, and this spark within our heart is yearning for connection with the Supreme Spark. Okay, so we can now chant together. Om Gyanti Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Minitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapad Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So it's nice to arrive into the Bhagavad Gita together. And as we arrive into this conversation, we can really understand that this is a conversation beyond anything in this material world. Beyond absolutely anything we can imagine to happen in this material world is what's happening in this conversation, this divine conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. I must say that whenever we're here and we're about to start the Bhagavad Gita, I feel that I need Divyesh Bhai's blessings. And he's not here today. He's in India. Actually, he's coming back. I think he's coming back tonight. So he won't be. Him and Bhavisha Ben won't be here. But I'm so grateful to Divyesh Bhai, Bhavisha Ben, and Jyoti Ben, who really work so hard to run this program. It's really an amazing service to organize something like this, and I'm so grateful. So thank you, Jyoti Ben. I'm only able to thank Divyesh Bhai and Bhavisha Ben now because I know if they were here, he won't let me. He'll stop by now. He would have stopped me. He would have cut me out, and he would say, "No, you can't." But all three of them, they do such amazing seva, and without them, we wouldn't be here gathering so often. So thank you so much. And wherever Divyesh Bhai is on the plane, I don't know whether he's in Egypt now or whether he's traveled past there, I'm really seeking his blessings, his and Bhavisha Ben's blessings to share something that can be of some benefit to everyone. Okay, so, and I don't have anyone telling me when to stop, so we could be here all night now.
Sounds like
Yeah. Okay, so at the end of chapter 10, actually let's read out the text I wanted to talk about first, which is right at the end of chapter 10. It was 10.42, which is the last text of chapter 10. Snehabin, are you okay to read that one for me? 10.42. Oh yeah, go for it. Snehabin.
What?
Never.
Oh, sorry.
For the.
But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Thank you so much. What need is there, Arjun, for this detailed knowledge? So Krishna has given so much detailed knowledge. In the previous text in chapter 10, Krishna gave so much detail. Of fishes, I am the shark, of the letters, I am the letter A. He gave descriptions and he showed how, out of all the different aspects of this universe, he is the most prominent in this universe, in everything. Whatever we are attracted to, whatever it is we have attraction to in this universe, Krishna is saying that opulence, that power, it comes from him. The origin comes from him. So Krishna was saying this about so many things. The gambling of the cheats, of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna, of the Nagas, I am Ananta, just picking out a few. Of the elephants, I am Airavata, of the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. He spoke so many different concepts of this world where he is saying that the greatest of different categories of this universe come from him. So in chapter 11, Arjun is saying, okay. And in text 1, he says, by hearing the instructions you have given me about this most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion is now dispelled. Moho yam vigato mama. This moho, this illusion that this world is everything, that everything just begins in this birth and ends in this birth, and that everything is so important in this planet, in my life, it's just so important. That illusion is now gone. That illusion is now gone. I'm ready to do anything and everything you tell me to do. But he says to Krishna, O lotus-eyed one, in text 2, Kamala Patraksha. He starts to talk to Krishna intimately. They're friends. Krishna and Arjuna are good friends. So he can intimately, O Kamala Patraksha, O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in every detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and I've realized your inexhaustible glories. You are the most glorious. You are unlimited in your glory. And I am addressing you intimately. And then in the third text, he says, do you remember all the things you were talking about in chapter 10? And then you ended with 10.42. And in 10.42, you said everything's just a fragment. The whole universe is just a fragment of your splendor. He's saying, O greatest, text 3, O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, I see you as a two-armed boy, you're two-armed, you're playing the flute, you're here as my charioteer. As you've described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. Arjuna is saying, I want to see your universal form. You're saying that you're the origin of everything. I want to see that form of yours which has everything. I want to see, you saying that all the universes are in you, I want to see it. Show me. This is what I want. This is my humble request. And you can see Arjun's humility in the fourth text. If you think I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, Yogeshvara Tato Me Tvam, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. He's not demanding, Krishna, you saying you're God? Show me. A bit like us. Oh, if there's God, why isn't he here? If there's God, why is there so much suffering? We're like babies who throw our toys out the pram, And Arjun is actually showing us what it means to be a gentleman. What does it mean to be a gentleman? Humility. If you think I'm able to behold, Krishna, if you deem me worthy enough, please show me this form. Now, why is Arjun asking Krishna to show him this form? Arjun is not asking Krishna to show him the universal form so that Arjun can believe that Krishna is God. Arjun knows this. In 10.1 14, by 10.14, Arjun had declared to Krishna, I'm done. We spoke about this last time. I'm done. I believe you're God. Anything you're telling me to do, I've got it now. So Arjun is already in full understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And whatever Krishna says, whatever Krishna does, is perfect. In fact, He is the source of perfection. So we think about what is perfect. Perfect means no mistake. No mistake comes from Krishna. Krishna is the source of perfection. Krishna's not just perfect, He's where perfect comes from. So what is it? You see, Arjun knows that this world is full of cheats. He's experienced this with Duryodhana, Dushasana. He's seen this with his own uncle Dhritarashtra. He's seen that actually this world is full of cheats. And in the future, there will also be many cheats. So he is asking Krishna to show His universal form, because in the future, when there are cheats who say, I am God, Arjun is getting Krishna to display His universal form, because no one else will be able to do that. So when someone says, I am God, can they display the universal form? Can they display that all the universes actually rest within them? So Krishna, He shows His universal form here to set some sort of criteria for a future so-called incarnation of the Lord. He's also just pleasing Arjun, because Arjun has asked Him. He's pleasing Arjun, and he's also getting Arjun to fight. Because this conversation started with Arjun not knowing what to do, and Krishna, out of love, is gently encouraging Arjun that he should get involved with this fight. He shouldn't run away from the battlefield. So this is why Krishna is going to display His universal form. Not because Arjun needs any more reassurance. Because the philosophy and the love and the connection that Krishna and Arjun have is more than enough. This is all for the doubters. This is all for the non-believers. This is for the people who might doubt Krishna. What did Krishna do? Wasn't Krishna just an ordinary man who came to this world? He showed a few magic tricks and he got killed. Someone shot him with an arrow and it hit his foot and he died. Some people speak like that. But actually, Krishna displayed Himself in a certain way. And only those that knew Krishna in the heart knew who He really was. So in the next text, in text 5, so text 1 to 4 is Arjun's request. Arjun's humility and Arjun's polite request. The next few texts, text 5 to text 8, Krishna responds to Arjun. And Krishna tells Arjun what Arjun is about to see. You've asked for the universal form. Okay, no problem. I'll show it to you. But let me just tell you what you're about to see. It's just like if someone says, if my daughter said, I want to watch this wildlife program. And I would say, okay, you want to watch this wildlife program? Yeah, Papa, I really want to watch this wildlife program. Okay, you want to watch this wildlife program? By the way, there might be a shark. There might be a lion. There might be a tiger. The lion might kill a gazelle. There'll be things in there that you might not like to see, that might disturb you. So let me just tell you about that. So Arjun is going to hear Krishna's description of what he's about to show him. So Krishna says in text 5, My dear Arjun, O son of Pritha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied, divine and multicolored forms. I'm going to show you everything. All the universes, you're going to see them within me. You're going to see everything within me. O best of the text 6, O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumars, all the demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before. Whatever in this universe, all the devtas, they're within me. All the planets, they're within me. Things that you know about, things you don't yet know about. You're going to see everything. You're going to see absolutely, Arjun. Text 7. O Arjun, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place. Everything is coming right here, right now, in one place. Imagine you went, a simple example, imagine you went to a shopping mall, and you go to a shopping mall, there's a car park. Then you go in, then you pay for your car, you get your car park ticket, you go in, there's some lifts, you go down, there's a cinema, there's a bowling alley, then you go down another floor, there's a clothes shop, there's a gadget shop, there's Starbucks, other restaurants, you see so many, and you go down another level and you see other types of shops. It's all happening. Salespeople trying to sell you things that you don't need, all these different things. And imagine as soon as you walk in, it's all there. So as soon as you walked into the shopping mall, they all just came to you right there. Everything, the people, the shops, the Starbucks, the gadgets, the iPhone, the iPad, the clothes, and it was just all here. Here, up, down, left, right, behind you. It was just surrounding you. And that's just a shopping mall. This is now the universe. So this is what Krishna is warning Arjuna. This is what you've asked for. You've asked for it politely. Krishna knows that Arjuna is asking not just for himself, he's asking for the future generations. He's asking for all of us. So then in text 8, Krishna says, you want to see the universal form, just like when you go to the cinema and they tell you it's a 3D movie, what do they give you? 3D glasses. They give you the 3D glasses. So what does Krishna say? He says, I'm going to give you Divya Chakshus. What's Divya Chakshus? Divine vision. So it's not a physical pair of 3D glasses. He gives him the power within his eyes so he can see the universal form. Because what he's about to show Arjuna could only be seen by Arjuna. No one else on the battlefield could see what Krishna was displaying to Arjuna. Because Krishna gave that vision to Arjuna. Divya Chakshush was given to Arjuna. So, he gives him the Divya Chakshush. He gives it to him in text 8. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. You need something. What am I going to give you? Therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. So it's not divine eyes in a literal sense. It's not an organ donation. It's the power of the vision. It's the power of the vision. It's the vision that's important. I remember when my grandmother, she passed away, my nani, she passed away 1 year back, last March. Yeah, so a year and 1 month. So she passed away last year, and my mamas, they decided, actually my nanima, she wanted to do an organ donation at her death, that her eyes get donated. And when I was thinking about my grandmother, I was thinking, amazing, she gave her eyes, she gave someone sight. And then I was thinking, what did she give me? And when I was thinking about my grandma, what I noticed over life is she gave me some real spiritual vision. And this is it. She didn't give me her eyes, but she gave me spiritual vision. She always made me see the good in everyone. She always made me see that when someone is not being good to me, when someone is being inimical towards me, that I don't make them my enemy just because they've made me their enemy. And my grandmother, because she was very spiritually orientated, she always gave me that sort of spiritual understanding, which gave me what we can say spiritual vision. And this is what Krishna is giving Arjuna, not the organ donation. Krishna is giving Arjuna spiritual vision, the power to see something beyond this world. So we can all obtain Divya Chakshush. We can all obtain this spiritual vision. How? Through Shastra Chakshush, through the vision of the Shastra. Through the vision that Krishna gives in this Bhagavad Gita, we can obtain divine vision. We can actually spiritualize the way we see the world. We can understand the world through its spirituality. So then what happens, now there's quite an engaging situation, because we have Arjun who's asked to see the universal form. We have Krishna who's saying to Arjun now, okay, I'm about to show you the universal form, and here is the divine vision to see it. So now both of them are engaged in this interaction. So the Bhagavad Gita now, if you like, the camera of the Gita, which is now focusing on Krishna and Arjun, now goes all the way back to the palace where Sanjay is narrating what's going on to Dhritarashtra. Sanjay is narrating everything that's going on to Dhritarashtra. So now the Bhagavad Gita camera, if you like, is now moving to Sanjay. Because Sanjay is telling everything. We know the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, text 1, started with Dhritarashtra. Asking Sanjay, what's going on? Kima kurvata Sanjaya. What's happening, Sanjay? And Sanjay explaining what's happening. And this actually is all, in one sense, everything that's going on, Sanjay is explaining to Dhritarashtra. So now the camera's gone back to the palace. And there's no real camera, by the way. So we have one here. So, text 9. Sanjay said, O king. Who's the king? Dhritarashtra. So he's speaking to Dhritarashtra. O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, Maha Yogeshwaro Hari. Sanjay is reminding Dhritarashtra, you want to fight this war with the Pandavas, but the Pandavas have Krishna, and Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He keeps reminding Dhritarashtra. Okay, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. And Sanjaya goes on to say, in text 10 and 11, Arjun saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. So Sanjay was given the vision to also see the universal form by Vyasadeva. So on the battlefield, only Arjun could see it, the universal form. But back in the palace, when Sanjay is narrating to Dhritarashtra, Sanjay's been given this vision of the universal form by Vyasadeva. Vyasadev's given him this opportunity. Because Sanjay is engaged in telling Dhritarashtra, so he also needs to see it. And Vyasadeva, who's the literary incarnation of Krishna, was able to give him that power. This chakshus, this vision. So, in text 12, Sanjay tries slightly, metaphorically, to explain what he's seeing. Metaphorically, because you can't really sometimes you can't describe something to its complete detail, because what you're seeing is just beyond any description. It's just like when you try and explain to someone a spiritual experience. When you try and explain to someone a spiritual experience, you can't really explain the spiritual experience spiritually. Because the person needs to experience that themselves. So what you can do is just say, it's like real happiness. But it's more than happiness. You know, it's like something you cannot describe. So here in text 12, Sanjay says, if hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Divi Surya Sahasrasya. Not just one sun. Not just one sun. Now imagine one sun and the radiance of the sun. Sanjay is saying hundreds of thousands of suns simultaneously at once in the sky. That's the effulgence that the universe will form. That's why no one could see. Imagine that brightness. Imagine that brightness. A pair of shades isn't going to quite do it. We're going to need a lot more to withhold. And that's why Krishna warned Arjuna, behold this form. Behold this mystic opulence that I'm going to show you. Behold it. You're going to have to hold it. How are you going to hold it? I'm giving you this divine vision so that you can see this. And it's like hundreds and thousands of suns. That's how effulgent it is. That's how effulgent this form is. So now Sanjay is getting excited himself while describing this to Dhritarashtra. Text 13. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, as if, although divided into many, many thousands. So everything in this whole universe, Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra, this is what Arjuna is seeing in Krishna right now. And then Sanjay says, then bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer his obeisances with folded hands and began to pray to the Supreme Lord. So we can see now, Sanjay is describing to Dhritarashtra what is Arjuna seeing? How is Arjuna feeling? And what does Arjuna do? So Arjuna is bewildered. So in one sense what you can see, he's bewildered and astonished. This is his emotional reaction. Right? This is Arjuna's emotional reaction. He's bewildered, he's astonished, like, whoa, what am I looking at? Like, oh my, this is too much. This is too much. So then, what's his physical reaction? His physical reaction, his hair standing on end. So all his hairs on his body just stand on end. That's the physical reaction. So there's an emotional response, astonished, bewildered. There's a physical response in the body. His hair standing on end. And then Arjuna didn't know what to do. So what did he do? He bowed down. He folded his hands and prayed to the Supreme Lord. So this is interesting. When we feel something in our body, a physical reaction, when we feel an emotional reaction, what does Arjuna do? He takes shelter of the Supreme Lord. So, in this world, which is symptomatic, Kali Yuga is symptomatic of quarrel and is symptomatic of hypocrisy. When quarrel lands on your doorstep, has that happened to anyone? Just this morning, this afternoon, just before we got here? It can't have been longer than a week since you last were part of a quarrel in this way. It's not really possible. It finds you, even if you don't want to find it. So when quarrel comes to you, in the manifestation of family, friends, colleagues, members of community, when quarrel comes to us, especially when it comes in an unexpected way. See, sometimes when you're going into a meeting and the meeting has been arranged in advance and it's going to be a bit, there's two different opinions, you can prepare for it. And because you're prepared, you know what the other person might say, and because you know what the other person might say, you may have already thought of a response to what they might say, and even if they say something you don't quite know, the fact you know you're about to get involved in a conversation where you don't agree, you kind of already have G'd yourself up to stay calm. But it's not always that simple. Sometimes someone says something or does something totally out of the blue, totally unexpected, and we just think, what just happened there? And what can happen is someone says something and without even thinking, we just say something back. And what's interesting is, what happened to Arjuna, he was bewildered and astonished and his hair standing on end. there can be, and we can learn from this actually, we can try and notice what is happening to our body. What are we feeling in the body? And what is also our emotional response? Are we astonished? Are we bewildered? Are we shocked? Because just by becoming aware, just by having that awareness gives us a little bit of time to come up with a considered response. Some consideration of a response, even though the response has to be somewhat instantaneous, by just becoming aware of what's happening to our body. I can give you an example. A few days ago, quarrel came to my doorstep through one family member, and when the quarrel came, it was totally unexpected. I was totally shocked, I could say. I was surprised in the way that it came. The first thing I noticed in my body was my heart started beating, and I noticed my leg getting tense. Straight away, when it was like boom, 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 and straight away I noticed and I noticed that straight away. And then the next thing I noticed was that when I was going to speak, my voice became a little suffocated. Like my voice wasn't going to come out in a normal, the way I'm speaking now. It was coming out a little like this. Because I was surprised, and because I wouldn't say confrontation, but that surprise, the shock, maybe, that I felt the physical effect in my body. And by noticing the physical effect on my body, then what happened is, I then tried to respond. But just by noticing that something happened to my body meant that I wasn't going to shout. I wasn't going to lose it. Just by noticing. Now, I'm not saying that I dealt with that conversation in a perfected way like a sadhu, and I was just like, oh, Hare Krishna, no problem. But, but I did notice some slight improvement in dealing with that shock of conversation, just by becoming aware of what's happening to my body. And just by having awareness, we raise ourselves to sattva gun. We raise ourselves to the mode of goodness. And just having that awareness means that I know what's happening to me, and now I'll respond. And then next time I was thinking I can take it a step further. Okay, I know what's happening to my body. I'm not under any threat, because these reactions to the body is because of fear. Ultimately, there's a fear. But then I know, I can tell myself, okay, next time I know I'm not in any threat, no one can harm me, no one's going to kill me here, and maybe I can respond in a way that, knowing that I'm not under any threat at all. Because usually it's just a reaction to feeling fearful and threat. So here we can see in text 14 that Arjun is aware. And even Sanjay is aware of Arjun's reaction, of Arjun's physical response, the hair standing on end, what's happened to his body, and his emotional response, his bewilderment, his astonishment. And what did he do? He surrendered to the Supreme Lord. I cannot say on Saturday that straight away I thought, oh Krishna, I wish I did. I wish I did, but I didn't. But at least we can see in the Bhagavad Gita that this is, if we then take shelter of the Supreme Lord, take shelter of Krishna, and allow Krishna to speak through us, invite him in and say, Krishna, how shall I respond in this situation? And as we practice more and more and more to connect with Krishna in this way, it will become natural. It will just become more and more natural to connect with Krishna and respond through Krishna. How does Krishna want me to respond? So, Krishna has explained to Arjun what he's going to see, and Sanjay has now explained to Dhritarashtra what Arjun is seeing, which is the universal form. So now in text 15, the camera goes back, if you like, the lens of the Bhagavad Gita is going back to Arjun. And from text 15 to 31, which is the one up to where we're going to be discussing today, this is all Arjun speaking to Krishna. This is all going to be Arjun explaining to Krishna, describing to Krishna what he's seeing. So he says in text 15, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents." So Arjun is saying to Krishna, what you said I would see, I am seeing. I can see the top of the universe where Brahma is. I can see right at the bottom of the universe where there's Ananta Shesh with Vishnu. I can see everything. I can see everything. Just looking at you, I can see top to bottom of this universe. Text 16. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths and eyes expanded everywhere, without limit. I see no end, no middle and no beginning. Aneka bahudra vaktra netram. He's saying aneka, millions and millions. It's unlimited. There's so many people. There's so many of us. And all of us are within the universe. And all the universe, and one universe, there's many universes. And all the universes are within Krishna. And Arjun seeing everything. Arjun seeing everything. Millions, unlimited. Like we said, we're trying to metaphorically describe. So even millions and millions is not enough. It's unlimited. It's unlimited. Okay, text 17. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs and discs. So he's seeing this effulgence, he's seeing this radiance. Text 18, you are supreme, you're the supreme primal objective, you're the ultimate resting place of the universe, you're inexhaustible, you're the oldest, you're the maintainer of eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. He's saying to Krishna, you are absolutely everything. I knew you were everything before, and I asked you to see this universal form, but you are everything. Now I'm looking at you, it's so radiant, it's so bright, seeing millions of hands, arms, bellies, tongues, planets, demigods, Brahma, Shiva, the Ananta Shesh. I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing everything. I am totally astonished. I'm totally bewildered. You must be everything. How can all of this be within you? How can all of this be within you? How is it possible that everything is just you? And text 19, you are without origin, middle or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms. The sun and moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. Arjun is now repeating himself because he's so shocked and surprised with what he's seeing in this emotion. He's just repeating himself. Don't we do this sometimes? Keva fine luggage, bow fine luggage. So you see the bride on the wedding, bow fine luggage. Even bow fine luggage. Oh, totally fine luggage. Oh, bow fine. You just keep saying it. You just keep saying it. It's that repetition. It's that emotional response. It's that surprise. So Arjuna is also feeling this emotion. He's feeling that surprise. He keeps telling Krishna, you're everything. He keeps telling Krishna, there's no beginning, no middle, no end to you. You are everything. And for us, we can also understand, wow, Krishna is everything. Krishna is everywhere. Whatever's going on in our life, He's got our back. He's got our back. It's just whether we want to reach out to Him or not. He's there. He's waiting. He's waiting. Text 20. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. Okay, so he's saying to Krishna that actually you can shake this universe, you can shake this planet because everything's coming from you. All the demigods are surrendering. They're all saying all peace in text 21. So he can see here that the demigods, seeing this within the universe, they are also terrified. of this universal form. They're within you, and even they are within that form, they are terrified of the form. Within the form, he's seeing them terrified of that form. So what's starting to happen is in text 22, again, he's saying to Krishna, all these devtas are within you. So we may have devtas, demigods that we are attracted to, that we may be attached to. That's fine. Arjun's saying that all of them are within you. So that's why the recommendation that Krishna gives in the Gita is, just come to me. Why not just come to me directly? Because whoever you're attached to, they're getting their power from me anyway. So why not just come to me? He's giving that option. Why not just come to me? But he's not shutting us down if we decide not to. He doesn't dislike us if we are attached to a demigod. He doesn't mind that. But he's also suggesting it might be better for us to become attached to him directly. Because he's the origin. And this is what Arjun's seeing, that everything is within him. And then what Arjun sees is that this universal form is getting a bit disturbing. See, like at the beginning there was the shock, the wonder, the astonishment. And after a while, it started to feel terrible, a bit too much. It's like if you eat something that's very, very katu, like at the beginning, it's like, but you have a second one, third one, it's like, whoa, enough. Done. Or if you're on a fun fair ride, at the beginning it's like woo, and it's like, oh, this was fun, and then it's like woo, woo, and then it keeps going and going, and you're like, I'm feeling a bit sick. This is a bit too much now. It's amazing how when time goes, how the body can't handle things anymore. Like fun fair rides used to be. Like I used to love them, going to like all these theme parks, Alton Towers. I used to just love it. And now my daughter, my older daughter, she's really daring and she loves doing all this. And so a few years ago, we went to Blackpool and we went on these rides, and I was just like, oh my God. And my body, like at time I was like, oh my God, chakra, which I was so dizzy, and I couldn't handle it. And we did this thing where we went on this rope, and just with this one rope we went really high, and then the rope takes you, and I think this is all over, I'm gonna go. But she's like so excited, and so now luckily one of my cousins also loves this stuff. So now when we go to fun fair, I'm like, okay, you have to come, and you go with Keshavi, and I'll watch because the body can't take it anymore. But that's the thing, that after some time, it gets a bit too much. So this is what happened for Arjun. He saw the universal form, he was astonished, he was shocked, he saw it, he saw the wonder, he saw the brilliance, he's seen the radiance. And now he's starting to feel, okay, I've about you. Chalo, ghare jai. Krishna, just kind of come back now to how I saw you before, show me that flute, just be my friend again. Like, what's all this now? Bankar. Stop it. So in text 23 and text 24, he starts to see this disturbance. He starts to see it as a bit too much. It's a bit too terrible for him. And in text 24, he says, "O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths, your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed with fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. I want my Krishna back. I want my Krishna back. I asked you for this, but I want my Krishna back. Now, both you, sort it out." And then he says in text 25, "O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing, death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions, there's one text that really stands out to me. It's way back. I'm just going to read it out because it's way back. It's chapter 3, text 26. So this is Krishna speaking to Arjuna. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. So what this means is, whatever someone's doing, don't stop them doing. If they are practicing spiritual life differently to us, don't stop them practicing. If they don't believe in Krishna, oh my God, they don't believe in Krishna, but they believe in Shiva, or they believe in Ram, or they believe in Ganesh, let them. Lovingly encourage that. Lovingly encourage whatever devotion someone has in their heart. Lovingly encourage. And then what it says, working in the spirit of devotion, engage them in all sorts of activities. And then we can say to someone, carry on doing what you're doing, because that's where your heart is. But hold on a second, how about we add this? How about just chant one round of Hare Krishna every day? And add it. Don't stop doing anything you're doing, because that's where your heart is. But chant one round of Hare Krishna every day and see where that takes you. And then just see their relationship with Krishna can just be their relationship with Krishna. And if they are, as that relationship develops, they will ask us questions. And as they ask us questions, we can encourage them more. But never, ever, ever do we want to stop them doing what they do. Because by stopping someone doing what they do, what does that say about us? That says actually we're not really secure in the practice we are processing, the practice we are engaging in ourselves. We're not secure in it, because if we were secure in our relationship with Krishna, in our spiritual practice, we wouldn't say that what someone else is doing is wrong. It's our own insecurity that does that. It's our own insecurity, and that's something we should look at for ourselves rather than imposing ourselves onto someone else. So back to chapter 11, in text 28, the rivers are going into the ocean. If we are serving Krishna here in this material world, we're in a river. And at the end of our life, we'll go into the ocean of the spiritual world. And what will we do? We'll serve Krishna there. So the river goes into the ocean. The service just turns into more service. The seva for Krishna, the bhakti for Krishna just becomes more bhakti for Krishna. It's the same. Whether it's here, whether it's there, it just expands when we get there. So that's the rivers going into the ocean. That's what Arjuna is seeing when he's seeing the death in this life of the devotees. And in the next verse, in text 29, I can still see Divyesh by saying, 5 minutes. Yeah. So in text, I never thought I'd miss him so much, but okay. So in text 29, I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. Now, what is it with a moth? When a moth sees fire, what does the moth do? Go straight to the fire because it's attracted by the light. So the moth goes straight into the fire, and then what happens? So So if we, and this is when he's talking about those that don't practice spiritual life, the materialistic. What happens? They see death, they run into death, and that is for them, it's the end of everything, because they don't have the belief that this carries on, that this life is a continuation of many, many lives, and the soul never dies. The soul never dies. But others, those that don't believe, they run into death, and for them, everything is then over. Death is the end point. But for us, death is not the end. We feel like it's the end because it's the end of one chapter. And because we can only perceive this chapter, we feel that it's the end of every chapter. But it's just the end of this chapter. If we become like the river going into the ocean, then the river going into the ocean is just engaging in more and more bhakti. And yes, the river of this life does collect things that we let go of. But what Krishna gives us is so much more. At the end of this life, at the end of this chapter, the next chapter is actually so exciting. It's so exciting if we make this chapter exciting and adventurous enough. Spiritual life is a real adventure. It's an external adventure and an internal adventure. And this adventure has so much realization. This adventure gives so much hope. This adventure gives divine connection. This is the beauty of spiritual life. It gives us everything. So this life is an adventure internally. How? Because we start to see ourselves changing. I mean, what an adventure when we can see ourselves changing, when we can perceive a relationship with the divine, when we can perceive that this world is not a place to be fearful of, when we can really deeply internalize the protection of Krishna. You know, there's so much out there in this world with people. Lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence, anxiety, depression. So many things are prevalent. If we really, genuinely, deeply had confidence in Krishna's protection, if we genuinely felt that protection of Krishna, then where is the room to not be confident? Wherever we go, we're confident because Krishna's with me. Krishna's got me, and Krishna's perfect. So if I've got the perfect person looking after me, where can I not be confident? Where can I not feel protected? I'm going to be protected, I'm going to be confident wherever I go and whenever I go and whatever I do. And Hanuman, we have to mention Hanuman because it was Hanuman Jayanti yesterday. Hanuman was fully cognizant with Ram's protection. It's like when he was at the bank of the river, and when Sampati told them what happened, when Sampati saw them, and when Sampati saw the warriors, so this is Jatayu's brother, and when he saw them, and Jatayu told them he saw Ravan go that way with Sita to the south. And then they were Hanuman and Jambavan and all the different monkey warriors, they were deciding who's going to go? Who's going to go to Lanka? And and it was a 100 yojana journey. So it's like an 800-mile journey. So who can jump that far? And I can jump this far, I can jump that far. And Hanuman just stayed quiet. In his humility, Hanuman just stayed quiet. And then when they said to Hanuman, Hanuman, you can do this. And Hanuman remembered Ram. And by remembering Ram, he realized, I can do anything. Because all I want to do is I want to please Ram. And I want to do everything I can to serve Ram. And then he gets on this journey. And there were so many obstacles. There were so many temptations. There was the Menaka mountain. This Menaka mountain was offering him gold, offering him a resting place. So for us, it's like we are in our life, we're practicing spirituality, and someone offers us a nice car, a nice house, a holiday home in Barbados. We can get tempted. But Hanuman didn't get tempted by the opulence of this world. He knows the opulence of this world is temporary. It's here for a short time and it will be gone. What was most important to him was his love and his service to Ram. So he folded his hands. He paid obeisances to the mountain. Thank you for offering this to me. But I've got a mission. I've got a mission. And he carried on, and there was the snake, Suras, there was Shimika, the demon, and he managed to defeat both of them. The demon, Suras he saw, and the snake was getting bigger than him, and he became bigger, then the other one, the demon got bigger, then Hanuman got bigger, and then what did Hanuman do? Anyone remember? He shrunk, he became so small. He became so small and then managed to defeat. We're always trying to be bigger than someone else. I'm this, no, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, no, I'm this, I'm that. And then what did Hanuman do? Showed that actually humility. It's the humility. Just become small, just become humble. In this universe, Arjun seeing that there's this whole universe, and he became very humble, seeing the universal form. So he became very humble. When he gets to the gates of Lanka, he sees the gatekeeper Lankini, and the gatekeeper wants to destroy Hanuman, saying, "What are you doing trespassing here?" And what does Hanuman say? That your emperor is the thief. He has stolen Sita from Ram. And he completely whacks Lankini, and he goes into Lanka, and eventually he finds Sita. And when he finds Sita, he offers Sita, "I can take you back." Sita says, "No, only Ram can come. Only Ram should come." But Hanuman, just by seeing her, and he takes the ring and he goes back. And he shows Ram that he found Sita. This is the proof I found Sita. So in this way, Hanuman, and I just spoke this story, we could actually talk for 1-2 hours, but I just wanted to mention this story very quickly because Hanuman is what you can say in a monkey's body. In a monkey's body. So it doesn't matter what we've got, what house we got, what car we've got, what job we have, the beautiful body we have or don't have. God is not interested in these things. What is He interested in? The devotion in the heart. Hanuman's in a monkey's body, but Ram loves Hanuman more than anything and anyone because of the bhakti that he had. So what is our inspiration? Our inspiration is knowing that when we are confident in the Lord's protection, Hanuman was confident in Ram's protection, we can do so much. And that's when spiritual life really becomes an adventure. We can get out of our comfort zone. We can just step out of our comfort zone. We may not be the same again, but that's okay. Because that spiritual adventure is just so worth it. It's so worth it. I'm sure Hanuman really enjoyed, even though it was a stressful mission, I'm sure he enjoyed pleasing Ram. So here, at the end of this section of the Gita in text 31, Arjun says to Krishna, "O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. Tame kaun cho? Who are you? Look at you. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is." So he's now humbly again submitting himself to the Lord. Like we may sometimes, when we see something amazing has happened or something terrible has happened, we submit ourselves to the Lord and say, okay, reveal to me what needs to be revealed. And he does. So we'll talk more about this next week. I think it's next week we're meeting again. I think it's the 1st.
We have a 2-week break now because there's an event here on the 8th.
No, isn't next week the 1st? I think it's 1st of May
Oh,
we're
sorry,
meeting.
is there one on the 1st? I need to check
I think
the
so.
dates then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, I'll
So
double
I
check
think
the
it's
dates.
next Wednesday. Keep it in your diary. I think it's next Wednesday for the end of chapter 11. So thank you all very much for your kind attention. Does anyone have any comments, questions, realizations, anything they'd like to share? Yeah.
First time in ages you haven't gone through without mentioning Gujarati words, because somebody told you not to do it. It's fine. There wasn't that much Gujarati this time.
Oh.
I just wondered, had somebody mentioned it, that we don't understand it when you're talking Gujarati. I just wondered, because it was beautifully played out today.
No one said anything.
Okay,
Yeah,
but you haven't done the Gujarati in-house.
Sorry?
Whether it's with the wife or the children, it hasn't happened today.
It does help or doesn't help?
It happens regularly,
Oh, okay.
but it didn't happen today.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else want to share anything? Any comments, realizations, questions?
I'll just a comment. It's not a question.
Yeah,
It is. I think it goes through a lot of people here. As you said, Krishna is the ultimate, and there is only one God, Krishna, and no other God. Realizing that fact is quite difficult, definitely for me, because of the way we've been brought up. Say Jalaram, Shiv, Hanuman. So we were brought up that there was three Murti: Shiv, Brahma, Vishnu. Vishnu is Krishna. And then now, since we've been coming to Gita lessons and reading Gita Ji, it's not Brahma, it's not Shiv, it's just Krishna, Krishna and Krishna, the ultimate. So it's to convince myself that I have to stop praying all the other gods and just purely focus on Krishna I'm finding it difficult. I don't know about the others.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I'll probably just go back to what I said earlier with that. That don't stop. There's no need to stop, because just by adding Krishna to our life, that's enough. And just see where it takes us. And if it takes us to more devotion to Shiva, good. Shiva, Vaishnavam Yatha Shambhu. Shiva is described in the Bhagavatam as the most ultimate prominent Vaishnava. So if our connection to Krishna takes us closer to Shiva, that's okay. It's okay. I think it's just about being okay with who we are inside, and just realizing where our bhakti actually is. But what the Gita is recommending is connect with Krishna. Doesn't mean let go of any other relationship, any other devta or god that we've been brought up to pray to or worship or believe in. Carry on with that, but just add Krishna. I remember when I started chanting, at the end of my rounds, at the end of chanting one round, I would say Krishna Bhagwan ki jai, Shiva Bhagwan ki jai, Ram. I would everyone, just in case. Just in case. It was like an insurance. Yeah. And then over time I kind of felt comfortable in this relationship with Krishna, that he'll take care of my relationship with all the devtas, all the demigods. And if he doesn't, it's okay, and if he does, it's okay. But the main thing is Krishna will protect us, and we'll lose nothing by adding a relationship with Krishna to our life. We'll lose nothing. There's nothing to lose. It's a win-win. So if something's a win-win, you're going to bet on it, because you can't lose. So yeah, don't worry about losing anything. Just think about what we can gain in a relationship with Krishna. There's nothing to lose.
No, I think it wasn't. What I was saying is finding it very difficult, which I do, obviously. But I'm just saying it's in your heart. You have to, from what we're saying, Krishna is the ultimate. We should be, all our devotion, everything, and chant Krishna to get the moksha. And when you've been believing this from a very young age, and then now to change that,
No, but don't
I
you-
probably will. Yeah, I
But
probably
don't
will.
you-
But it's just
I guess the word I would say is the word should. Just take the word should away. Just think of the word should and just delete it. And just let it be. Just let that relationship blossom. And just see where the relationship takes you. But if you're feeling uncomfortable with not saying Om Namah Shivaya, don't stop saying Om Namah Shivaya. Because saying Om Namah Shivaya, connecting with Lord Shiva, is good for you. Right? It's good for you to connect with Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
But what will happen naturally is when we can see that Shiva, Brahma, like you mentioned, Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, the origin of everyone is Krishna. When we start to realize that within the heart, then we'll feel connected to everyone we were connected to, including Shiva, including Brahma, including Vishnu, in a more holistic, secure way. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be difficult. It can just be natural. Just let it be natural, like the rivers going into the ocean. Just let it be a natural process.
Thank you.
Something to that?
Please.
I just want to add how mom and dad used to explain it from what you said, because I married out of caste and stuff like that, and the kids would say, why this and why that, and my dad was a good explainer, but mom wasn't. He would just follow this, follow this, follow this, do this. She couldn't explain it. But the way dad put it, I remember, is like what I realized the word we call now demigods. In those days, it's like the god, monkey god, and the five-headed god, and we didn't even remember the names because as we were growing up, mom used to be Jayambe, Jayambe, Mataji, Mataji for a long time. And then she changed to Krishna, and then she became a Vaishnav, and it was always why. There's loads of deep answers, but someone like my friend here who asked this question, my dad used to say, you want to go from London to Scotland, there's loads of motorways. In our spiritual world, there's lots of gurus. I use demigods as a guru figure. Who you relate to and how much you relate depends on who showed you the road in the first place, your parents and stuff like that. If you end up at a demigod, you end up till Manchester. And if you're used to that, that demigod will then teach you how to get to Scotland from Manchester. You've done your job till Manchester. And that demigod should tell you how to go to Krishna and bow down to Krishna. Some people, from what I realize, just want Krishna and they're on the M4, M1, M6. And they don't want to get detoured. But we all get detoured because we have other people who want to pull us away into, like you say, and that's how I learned it. I'm just glad I came from a family that mom and dad, before they passed away, drummed it into me, my kids, that Krishna is the one. But you get a lot of people drumming Christianity and Muslim into people. We don't know if that's right. Coming places like this helps us explain it in English. I mean, I'm surprised some of the things I hear, mom and dad couldn't explain it because I realize now English is my first language now. And you put it in English, and they were doing Gujarati and Hindi and Urdu, and it just didn't happen. I hope that helps to anybody.
Thank you. Yeah, I like that. I like the analogy as well. So, yeah. Thank you. Anyone else want to share anything? Yes, Pinabe.
Thank you. Arjun was the only one who saw the universal form. So before he had a very kind of like a sort of, Krishna as a friend. But to go from seeing the universal form to going back to just being like just normal friend, was that kind of difficult for him to, when after seeing the universal form, how did the dynamic of the friendship change in any way?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Did the dynamic of the friendship change when, after Arjun saw the universal form? See, Arjun, before seeing the universal form, already knew Krishna had it. Because he knew that Krishna was the Lord of the universe anyway. So when Krishna came back to his normal two-armed form, for Arjun it was just a big relief so that he can go back to having that relationship again. He realized that this is the Krishna I want to be with again. So even though, in one sense, he knew that Krishna was God, he still managed to have that friendship kind of relationship with him. But the friendship relationship that Arjun had with Krishna is still different to the friendship relationship the Brajbasis, the residents of Vrindavan, had with Krishna. So the friends in Vrindavan, Madhu Mangal, Subal, all the cowherd boys in Vrindavan, to them they would see Krishna right in front of them kill a demon. But to them it was like, oh, Krishna can kill a demon, even I can kill a demon. Krishna is just their friend. And for Arjuna it was more, Krishna is God, but he had the mood of friendship, but he had that tinge of reverence. Whereas in Vrindavan, it was all just friendship. So there was that tinge of that, and that was there anyway, because he knew, even when Krishna explained himself, he is the Lord, but I'm your friend. Does that help? Does that make sense?
So when we kind of doing our devotion, our bhakti, are we supposed to sort of pray with reverence, or are we supposed to look at Krishna as a friend? How do we pray to him?
Yeah, such a nice question. How do we pray to Krishna? In one sense, we can be like Arjuna. We can see Krishna as the ultimate friend, because he is, but at the same time have that mood of reverence. Because if we don't have that mood of reverence, in Kali Yuga, our minds are so fickle, we'll forget that he's God, and then we can start taking him for granted. And then ultimately, if we take him for granted, we'll forget him. So having that mood of reverence, still bowing down to him, still having that bhav of Krishna's Aishwarya, his opulence, then we'll always remember who he is. And then having that remembrance of who he is, our natural relationship with him will start to also develop. And in time, by the time we're about to leave our body and go to the spiritual world, Krishna will reveal whether we're a cowherd boy or a girlfriend or a cow or whatever we are in the spiritual world. But whoever we are and whatever we are, we're going to be extremely happy and satisfied.
Okay, thank you very much.
you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be with everyone. Thank you again to Jyoti Ben.
No, thank you everyone. Not thank you to me. I haven't done anything.
You set everything up, and also maybe you can announce the Prashadam sponsors of the.
Yeah. So basically, a huge thank you to Reena Ben and Jayesh Bhai for sponsoring the prasad today, and also Kiran Ben, right? Sorry? Krishna Ben for bringing us some really amazing desserts. So guys, you don't know what you're going to get out there. It's a feast. So thank you so much for sponsoring
I was so excited when I walked in and you see these hot plates. Like, wow. Thank you so much. It means a lot.
We have a full meal today.
Means a
So
lot.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for coming. I will put the posters up, the flyer in straight away, hopefully tomorrow on the group, so that you can again book your diaries.
Yes,
I think it
next
is the first. I'll double
next
check,
week.
but you may be right actually.
I've got in my diary. So I
Okay.
think that's the one.
Okay. So then I think it must be. You must be right.
No, I don't know. My diary comes from what you tell me. So.
It's the blind leading the blind. No, but thank you all very much, and I hope you had a great time. Thank you, Kunal Prabhu. Thank you so much. We really, really enjoy your sessions. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.